but you probably don't. I'm not a comedian, but I do have a show called Eric Scott Talks a Lot. And it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. And the reason I'm talking to you about it is because right now it seems like we have a bunch of division, socially, don't we? So my buddy Randy and I, we started a show to get to know one another. So we have people on the show, and we just hear their conversation, we hear their stories, and we believe that a tether is going to bring us together. Do you guys believe that? If we know each other, we're going to come together. Word, right? We're going to come together. So let me tell you about the person that I'm about to introduce, okay? I met him when I was about 14, 15 years old. We owned a club called the North Shore Surf Club down in Olympia, Washington. Anybody remember that one? I was a 15-year-old kid, and back then, a Friday night meant you could see Nirvana down there, right? Or the Melvins. And I wanted to get on that stage so bad, and he gave me a shot. Boy, did he regret it. But you know, everything's history. We just kept going, and great friends, did great things together. And then last week, I have him on my show because the crazy A snuck into Chernobyl. He decides that he wants to go to Chernobyl. And so we got our hazmat suits and our clothes suits on so we didn't get too close to him. See, I told you I'm not a comedian. Anyways, but we had this great conversation about Chernobyl. This man is a very special man to me. He's a special man to Olympia because he does stuff like this and he has his whole life. He's committed himself to Olympia. I'm proud to call him my friend. Give a big welcome, round of applause for Baurice Nelson.
Eric Scott, everybody. Eric is a cool guy. I've known Eric for a long time. He is a true rock and roller. And I asked him to come down and introduce the show and go say some cool things about me. And thank you. That was very cool. I appreciate that. Eric has been in many different bands. And just a memory of Eric's one time down at Lake Fair. His band was playing maybe 12, 13 years ago. And it's an evening down Lake Fair, the stage. The main stage down there, and his band's up there just rocking 300, 400, 500 people out there. And I'm just walking by myself on the path, kind of checking him out because I know it's his band, but I'm doing something. And he spots me walking somehow, and in the middle of his song, he's like, "Baurice Nelson." That was very cool. It'd be even cooler if I had like a girl I was trying to impress at the moment or something or whatever, but and that was just a rock star moment. I love that, and I never forgot it, so I finally repaid the deal. And it is true. I did go to Chernobyl, and I'm not here to talk to you about that because that's forever, but if you go to my website, baurice.com, the bottom of my simple page there is a link to my YouTube, so if you want to see that, I did. Backpacked in there. No, it's not totally legal. And like 70 miles total in the whole thing over 5 days, and I saw the whole place, walked around, all these empty, 45,000 people evacuated there, so climbed the Ferris wheel. I hung a 12-man flag off of that Ferris wheel, by the way, and the photos are on there. So I'm very proud of myself for doing that. I brought my 20-year-old son, some other guys, we hired guides. It was an amazing journey. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's there, it's free, it's on my little YouTube channel, which I'm not trying to make money on, just put it out there, you guys can check it out. I've been here my whole life, so 53, and as I get older, I don't know if this is natural, but now when I get a headache, I immediately think I'm going to die from a tumor, and every time I feel a pain in my side, it's cancer, and I'm screwed. So I didn't used to feel like that. I was like, normal, it's the way my life is going, but I am still here. I've been here the whole time, and Olympia has changed. So like what Eric's doing, I think is important. He's getting people to talk about stuff, because we all have different views. And we're here to put those views aside and laugh our ass off tonight. But I'm sure a lot of us have opposing views that are here tonight, so I'm glad you're all here. I love you all, and I'm glad you're all here, and we all love our city that we live in. I've watched it change. There's a few people out here tonight I know that tried to make a change. Candace, I know you're out here. Thank you for running and trying. You care in your own way. And Spence Wiegand, I know you're out there somewhere, buddy. So you guys gave it a shot. You guys are doing your thing, and other people are doing their things, and that's what it takes. We all want solutions to the problems. We all want healing. We all want this city to be the best it can be for whatever that means to all of us, respecting all of us. So I think we can get there. So with that being said, getting off that soapbox, I started out doing comedy way back. I used to work at a place called the Tiny Hotel. You guys have lived here a while. So about 91, I started working at the Tiny Hotel. I was a busboy, and I got hired in the lounge to be the lounge DJ. I probably should have only been there like 6 months, but I was there for the rest of the life of the tight, 9 years. And somewhere in that process, they made me the lounge manager, which was so dumb of them. But I did start doing comedy on Thursdays. I contacted Giggles Comedy Club up in Seattle. We got the comics that were going up there on Friday and Saturday to come on Thursday. And I got to meet so many, Gallagher and Ross Schaefer and John Keister, and all these guys were always coming through there. They were great, and it was a great fun thing, and without the connection, Seattle wouldn't have worked out. So that's kind of how I got it started after the Thai closed. Just kind of kept doing it, and ultimately ended up doing some shows here, do some at lounges, so I appreciate you guys coming out and supporting that. And they're good shows, so you've picked a good one to come to. I've known Gabriel for 20 years, and when he first started doing comedy, he looked like a little frat boy. And he was just as funny as he is now in a way, but he looked like a frat boy. Now he looks like rock and roll Jesus. And that was a good look for him. It works, and it's a great show tonight with him. So, but the other thing about that Thai, man, being that lounge manager, one thing that lounge manager came with was keys to everything. So those keys included the liquor room. And I worked Friday and Saturday nights, and no other manager did, so it was like not unusual for me and my buddies to way back about 20 minutes, and I'd head down the hall and go to the liquor room and sit in there for a while and taste everything. And the other advantage was I also did the inventory, so nothing was ever missing, but it was a good time. Sometimes, as a manager, I had to go in on Sunday mornings after a long night down. Those of you that don't know the Thai, it's where Fred Meyer is now in Tumwater. The parking lot for Fred Meyer was the parking lot for the lobby of the Thai. And the Thai was like an old motor inn, 50s, 60s, and just kind of progressed for a while until finally they sold out to Fred Meyer and ripped it down, put Fred Meyer there. So if you were in the lobby, you were looking out these big glass windows at the parking lot. The front desk looked out those windows. The lounge was gigantic, so it had like 300 people in there every night, drunk off their ass. They would leave way over the limit. The cops were the security guards, and it was like a quick drive to the entrance to the freeway, so you're out of town real quick. But I mean, that was going on every weekend. There was a totally different time, but that lounge made so much money that the hotel didn't care that they were pissing off all the rooms that they rented, because boom, boom, boom was going on until 2 in the morning, and there's like the dog show that had rented all these rooms or whatever's going on, and these people are just pissed. But the lounge made all this money, so they just kept doing it. But in the morning, this is the funniest thing, part of my little job. I wish we had phones that videotape, because there'd be so much stuff you could throw out. But in the morning you'd show up, there'd still be like spotted cars out in that parking lot, left over from the night before. And if you stood around long enough, you'd see another car pull up, and some girl get out that looks like she just got out of a dryer on a spin cycle, shuffle over to her car, and drive home. And that would happen like every Sunday morning, 5 or 6 times out there, and here comes another one. Oh yeah, so it was good times, but those were the 90s. Now we're here, and we're going to do another show, and I do a few shows a year here. I would like you guys to please give this Washington Center a round of applause for putting these shows on. Thank you. These guys, the staff, everybody here, they've had a tough ride too. They've had to make it through this whole thing, and without doing shows and having an income, I'm sure it stung. I mean, it stung me. All these shows, this is the 4th time we've rescheduled this show. And every time we have to restart advertising, every time it costs money, every time, so I think we're on the other side. So appreciate you honoring the mask thing. It's just what we have to do right now. I gotta put mine on as soon as I go backstage, and that's just the way it is. Next week, it's my first round. Next Saturday, I've got a band down here, Bee Gees Gold. Now these guys, if you like that style of music, the Bee Gees are the Bee Gees, and there's only one that's still alive, and he's really old, so I don't think you're gonna see him. But if you want to see a recreation of it, it was very close. These guys are out of Vegas, and they're going to be here next Saturday. I know they're going to be really good. I don't want 500 tickets already for these guys. Very excited to finally do that. Show's been scheduled like 4 times. And then the next show that I've got going on here is my most exciting show next to this one. Is March 18th is a thing I started called Ha Ha Palooza, which is just a combination of comics. I just wanted to do a thing where a bunch of comics come on one stage, and just kind of a range. And so that show we put off like 4 times as well. But that show, I'm very excited about it. In that show, we have such a great lineup. A guy named Henrik Botas here, and he will escape from a straitjacket on a unicycle while juggling plates. I mean, that's his whole thing, crazy. And the headliner of that show is a guy named Michael Winslow. Does anybody know who Michael Winslow is? Yeah. Police Academy, Spaceballs, makes all the sound effects. And he was just on America's Got Talent. So he had two good runs on there. So he's been around a while, but he is I mean, this guy can sound like Jimi Hendrix, all with just his lips and his mouth. Does a comedy routine to it. It's a great show. I'm so excited for him to be here, but to top that off, turns out his agent also represents Todd Bridges. You guys know who that is? Yeah. So it's Willis. So I asked him, I said, hey, could we get Todd to come out and host the show? He's like, well, check, yeah, okay, yeah, he can do it. So I was like, all right, so we've arranged that. So Todd Bridges will be here, and you could literally actually ask him what he is talking about, right? I've always wondered. And he's the only surviving cast member from Different Strokes, and I thought for sure he would go before Mr. Drummond. So he's still around, and apparently has nothing better to do than come host his shows. But I'm happy, and I think it's going to be a great show. So I hope you guys get tickets to that show. They're for sale, and check it out, HaHaPalooza, March 18th. You guys ready for a good show tonight? All right. Well, I would like to introduce your first comedian tonight. She was on HBO's Women in Comedy. Please give it up for Mary Lou Gamba.
How are we doing, folks? We doing good, Olivia?